23rd of October, 2:41 p.m. Naruhodo's legal consultancy. Oh wow. It's Susato! Oh, this room. It's been too long. It hasn't changed in the slightest, though. And it's been some 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to say so familiar. I didn't know when you might return, and I wanted everything to be as you'd left it. But it has been some 6 months, it's true. Why they have to repeat that? It's super consistent. Oh, it's been 6 months. Yes, and? So is your father all right, Susie? What happened? My father? Yes, Professor Mikatoba. I mean, it was half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan. Because of the telegram you received saying he'd fallen ill with a very high fever for some unknown reason. That's right. So I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised, but happy. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you, that it was all a trick. My father is in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that. Well, we're all delighted to have you back. It was quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of a very great grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium. I can do the words real good. I am the best at the words. It's the same symposium Lord Strongheart mentioned. In between gushing about forensic science. Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris. Oh! You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan. Yes, of course, I shall. And there's one other thing. Something you wrote in your letter that particularly grabbed my attention. About you know who. About Kazuma. I know. I'll tell you all that I can. Alright, let's chat about things. Back in Britain. When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely. The awful trial? Oh, yes, for the murder of Giselle Brett. Oh, you dressed as a man then, didn't you, Susie? Oh, well, yes, since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing! I wish I'd seen it. Don't you, Runo? Yes, I suppose so. I see the problem is he might have found it hot. I want to play at being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe. I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Miss Susato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikatabo summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter it was something to do with that convict's loot we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings. That's right, the very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem on it. It seems Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Britain. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned white as a sheet. What would that be, then? Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But if he refuses to tell me what it was, then I intend to find the answers for myself. And I've decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets. Oh, Susie! It's a very meaningful look Susato-san's giving Iris there. Forensic Science Symposium! Lord Strongheart mentioned something about that symposium too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries would attend. Yes, and from Japan, my father and Judge Jigoku have been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe. Well, Professor Mikotoba is the leading expert in forensic medicine in our country, after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say? Yes, His Excellency, Judge Seishiro Jigoku. You've met him, Mr. Naruhodo. Last year, in the Supreme Court. You can't possibly have forgotten. That terrible trial of yours where you were accused of murder. Ah, yes, I, try to think of that as a positive turning point in my life these days. Well, it was Judge Jigoku who presided over that trial. If I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy to never see that man's face again in my life. Oh, well, anyway, as Father was invited to the symposium, he agreed to me returning to Britain too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. So I pleaded with him, and in the end he agreed to me going on ahead. Yes, about the symposium. It seems as though Lord Strongheart has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important. I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General. The most senior position in the British justice system, apparently. System. He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what Father said, anyway. Apparently it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition. Does Professor Mikotoba know Lord Strongheart personally, then, I wonder? Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech all about this very subject only yesterday. But I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't really listen to much of it. How trying for you. How about Giselle? Let's talk about Giselle. The woman whose unforgivable actions ended up in me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, Giselle Brett. That's a name I won't forget for as long as I live. The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget. Sorry? Since the incident, our government's intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. And it turns out that an English woman by the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist. Huh. So it was a false identity or something? Didn't exist, but how can that be? It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin, and she wasn't a visiting student either. That was a front. A front? Who on earth was she then? Miss A. Shin. Her name is literally all our intelligence services has been able to ascertain about her. No one knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery. But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. What could that woman have been up to? I'm afraid I really don't know. The only thing we can be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand. And now she's been killed. While all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered. I'm afraid so. Ah, Shin. Who on earth was she? Why do I feel as though I've heard that name before somewhere? Alright, tell us about Kazuma. After my friend Ray's trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange. I know the truth! I know you have a hand in what went on, in that visiting student's fate. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, and that he'll never... Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time, but later I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama. And what did you learn? After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladen at the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of the consulate staff there. Should have been? Well, it turns out that his body never arrived. It just disappeared. Okay, weirdly enough, I feel like disappearing body means we're actually going to meet Kazuma again. It may just be the hopes and dreams of... He had such, like, main character energy, but if a dead body disappears in fiction, is it actually dead? What? Kazuma's body vanished? Our government tried to cover the fact up, it seems. They erected a grave on the cliffs by our hometown. Except Kazuma-sama isn't there. Did Professor Mikotoba know about this? Yes, it would seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's body as we speak. I just don't believe it. What is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? Ooh, that updated. Thinking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Buria were definitely strange. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? Could it be... Ooh, is Ryunosuke having the same suspicion? Is Ryunosuke having the same suspicion I am? That it's like, was he actually dead? Could it be that he's actually still alive? Stop it, Mr. Naruhodo! It's too much to bear! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Just thinking about the possibility pains me. So very much. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. When Kazuma-sama was discovered, Mr. Sholmes was there, wasn't he? Now see, that brings me to... Yeah, okay. Because Sholmes is not exactly the most reliable. It's... I love people standing up for Mr. Sholmes. But, like... And he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly. Ah, you're right. Again, Sholmes and reliability don't really go together. So if Kazuma hadn't actually been dead at all... Comas are a thing? It would mean that Mr. Sholmes had lied to us. I can see that happening, though. But there's no reason why he would have possibly have done such a thing. Unless... I'm sorry, I've got the cork board and the red thread and everything. And I'm probably wrong about all of it. I suppose that's true, yes. I feel very I've connected the two dots, but... Well... The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. It wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it. Because if it turned out not to be true, then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. I'm terrified of what that might do to me. Oh, Miss Susato. I know she's given the idea the thought it deserves. It's Susato-san we're talking about, after all. So I probably shouldn't push it now. Do you know what we can push? Iris! Hello. Must be about a year ago now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I called it The Hound of the Baskervilles. But then Mr. Sholmes forbade you from publishing it, and put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it. So nobody knows anything about it, apart from Hurley and I. But for some reason... You knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Yeah. Sounds so exciting, The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. And you wouldn't tell me how you come to know it. Yes, but I made you a promise I would explain one day, didn't I? I think it's time. Oh! Ooh! Explanation! I'm only sorry I've had to keep it from you for so long, Iris. Tell us. It was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study, and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, The Hound of the Baskervilles. It's probably what that bee color is in relation to, too. My Baskerville story? Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time. But Father came in and... Susato, what are you doing? Oh, Father. Did you look at those papers? No, I simply read the label, that's all. Well, put it out of your mind. Sorry? Forget that you ever saw it. Certainly don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand? But what was Iris's manuscript doing in Japan? I have no idea. But when I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed that it was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Sholmes' exploits. When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions. And there was no sign of the big box in his office. That's really all I know about it. I've no doubt that Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. Sorry, my neck is sore. I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you. Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I've committed every detail about the case to memory. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well. So, you're fully abreast of the situation already? Miss Susato, I expect nothing less, to be honest. I would think our first port of call should be to investigate this Mr. Drebber, the engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick. Alright, let's investigate the guy. Yes, a conjurer of sorts, by the sound of it, well known in the fields of science and magic. Then we need to go and arrest him! Well, yes, he must know the truth behind this case, so I agree we really do need to find the man. It sounds like it's a case of tracking someone down. Which is a job for the police? Or a great detective? Are we supposed to guess who she might be thinking of? We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think. Good idea. Well, best of luck then. Oh, you're not coming today? I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. But let me know later how you got on, won't you? That was a little abrupt. The pull of the herb market must be strong. The strong pull of the herb market. A new location has been added. How do you mean a new location? What? Alright, let's head to Sholmes. Is there anything exciting here? There isn't. Sholmes is not there! Anyway. Madame Dispels. Oh my, no wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I'd like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the confectionery. Being scared makes you crave sweets. I can understand that. I was looking forward to a reunion after 6 months away, but there's no sign of Mr. Sholmes anywhere. That's That's strange. He should be here investigating the abduction of the waxwork. Oh well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. Really? He's not pretending to be a waxwork? There's a stepladder there, look. Oh, yes, a stepladder. I think perhaps we should let the proprietress know someone's left it out. The stepladder, I mean. Is something wrong? Why do I feel as though I just managed to sidestep an argument? Ooh, I got an achievement! This one's posture reveals his weakness. Sorry? The killer's stance leaves him wide open to attack. I'm quite sure I could see him off. With a Susato takedown, then a Susato squash, and finally a Susato smash. Right. And if that doesn't render the culprit unconscious, a Susato slam should finish him. A Susato slam? Oh, I'm sorry, it's rather hard to explain. Do not demonstrate. Unless it's on a criminal. Leave yourself open slightly and I'll demonstrate. Do not! Absolutely not. I mean, I really thought that, Sholmes would be here. A murderer caught in the grisly act. I know, and in case you were wondering, it's the one with the big knife that's supposed to be the killer. I don't think anybody would be in any doubt about that, surely. Did you know that according to the description, the bathtub at the back has no particular significance? What? Really? I would have thought it was meant to show that the killer also worked in a bathhouse peddling criminal wares. Aha! We have a new theory! I initially looked at that particular waxwork and I was like, I live at Elizabeth Bathory. And it was like, Jane the Ripper. What? Alright. I will be back in a hot minute. Oh gosh, the controller went to sleep. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Alright. I am so sorry about that. Alright, let's go talk to Lord Strongheart. Oh! And someone else! That's a new person! Hello, new person. Oh, who's that standing beside Lord Strongheart? I wonder. I've never seen her before. Hi. Ah, the young champion of the court. You had some success this morning, I understand. And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result. Oh. You mean because of Professor Harebrain's experiment? Sham science being demonstrated at London's great exhibition? Country's been made to look foolish, and now politicians are scrabbling to respond. Lord Van Zykes is in Whitehall as we speak, giving an emergency briefing. Oh dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. The special dispensation that prevents investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, my forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time. It's scrap metal now, is it? Until later then, Lord Strongheart. Yes, thank you. Do we get to know who she is, or is that just... who was that? That was Dr. Courtney Scythe? Scythe. I'm going with Scythe. We are sticking with Scythe. Final answer. She's leading the forensic investigation team's handling of this case. She was just delivering her report about the victim, in fact. Oh, I see. About Mr. Asman. Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to reevaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly. You can find her in the forensic laboratory. Ah, right. Now, what were you here to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time. So he's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore. Now let's have a chat. Forensic investigation team. What exactly is the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before? The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created the forensic investigation team a year ago now, unofficially of course, to pave the way. A year ago? At next month's symposium, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensics division. And once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly. What do you mean? For too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. But London's scum is about to be rounded up and burnt in the fires of hell. Okay. Fantastic. Good for you. Alright. I intend to see to it personally. By creating the finest police force the world has ever known to protect our honor and our future. Look at those eyes. He means every word. Dr. Scythe is an extremely reliable coroner. Words. When I officially establish the forensics division at Scotland Yard, she will run it as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikatoba. Oh, yes, my lord. Your father should be on the high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan. Yes, that's right. I understand he will arrive at the beginning of next month. Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? With Professor Mikatoba, I mean. It was many years ago now, but yes, I remember Dr. Mikatoba very well. Tell us about it. If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student. It was the year I was born, so yes, 16 years ago, in fact. Mikatoba was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Jigoku accompanied him as a young, promising judge. The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Looking up a word. Hello. The hell? Ah, the precision. I see. Synonym meticulous. Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in any way. I didn't think that you were. Dr. Mikotoba studied forensics at one of London's large hospitals. St. Sinners, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Scythe was also there then, as it happens. Then Dr. Scythe knows my father, does she? She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. But I've no doubt they knew each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikotoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total. 6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it? I lived with my grandmother in those years. So he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years. It was a rather turbulent time at home. Oh. Perhaps Father wanted a reason to get away. What do you mean? Why? Oh. Well, clearly something was going on at the time. Alright, Lord Van Zykes. Here we go. I wanted to ask you about Lord Van Zykes, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago. By a mass murderer known as the Professor, who targeted nobles and royalty. Is that right? You Japanese are a thorough lot. You've done your research well. Yes. And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper. What? Why? When his brother, Clint Van Zykes, was murdered, was just after young Barrack had graduated from the University of London and become a prosecutor. When obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing, rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Londoners started to say that wherever Barrack Van Zykes went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind. Oh, my word! So, Lord Van Zykes isn't the Reaper, it's the ghost of his brother. Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles. Hey, words. I can do them. Oh, yes, Lord Strongheart. Go ahead. It's about Professor Harebrain's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the remains, if possible. Are you well versed in science, then? Not in the slightest. In fact, you could say I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently. Well, the special dispensation legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Scythe's team of forensic experts will begin their own investigation. But I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at the wreckage, as long as you touch nothing. Thank you. Being able to look at it is better than nothing. And I'll be able to get to see it too. Your time is up. You'll have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls. We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you're so busy, my lord. I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium. You understand. Okay, bye. Have fun. A new location has been added. Whoa, forensics. This is Clinton. I believe this is it. Dr. Scythe's laboratory. That chemical smell really assaults the nose, and there's plenty to assault the eyes in here, too. Looks as though the doctor isn't here. But we're here now, so we may as well do some sightseeing, don't you think? What a seasoned tourist you've become, Miss Susato. Could just have a little look around, being careful not to upset any restless souls. Skeleton. What a magnificent display case! The cherry wood has been polished to a high sheen, and the intricate carving is a joy to behold. Western cabinet makers really are very skilled, aren't they? Do you have nothing to say about the skeleton inside, Mr. Naruhodo? I feel like he's avoiding that, frankly. Miss Susato? Can't you tell I'm trying very hard to avoid talking about the terrifying contents of the case? It's how I cope. I'll be sure to remember that from now on. But the birds on top of the case. That looks like an owl and a crow up there. I know, and they haven't even twitched since we came in here. Well, that is because they are stuffed. They are taxidermy. Well, no, they wouldn't have. They're taxidermy mounts, Mr. Naruhodo. Ugh, I was afraid you were going to say that. I've been trying very hard to tell myself they're just sleeping with their eyes open. Yes, I think perhaps you were wise to put something like your Daruma doll in display in the office instead. Suppose this is Dr. Scythe's desk. Ugh, I would not like to work in a place like this. It's very tidy though, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Imagines how efficiently she must work. The lighting is poor, which is bad for the eyes, and the chemical smell can't be good for you. Not to mention the skeleton watching over you as you work, which is definitely bad for the nerves. Well, yes, those are valid concerns, I suppose. Can just about cope with a one-eyed Daruma doll watching over me, but that's all. Look at all the bottles on the shelves in these cabinets. What an assortment of chemicals. These ones here are labeled highly toxic. That's worrying, because there are also things that look like salt and pepper shakers in there. Oh, yes, and they actually say salt and pepper on them. Doctor probably spends a lot of time in this room, I suppose. Perhaps she has her meals here sometimes. Life goes on, even when you're surrounded by death. Check out the tools. A table and a set of sharp tools. When you consider each in isolation, it all looks quite innocent. So why is it that when you put them side by side, they seem so horribly disturbing? Might be best not to ponder it too deeply. Seeing the large tome that's open on the desk does make me wonder, though. How can anyone concentrate on bookwork with this acrid odor of chemicals in the air? Because they're used to it, probably. You'd either have to have a cast iron constitution or a really terrible sense of smell. So, where is our forensic person? Book. The book. The book. This big, thick book here. It appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigations team's spending, I think. Oh? What is it? It's clear the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but, well, one entry seems rather strange. Really? In what way? They're buying 500 scalpels every month. That... It appears they're scalpeling the government. Okay, I'm just gonna have a sip of my drink and we're gonna move on. 500. They must be working really hard on dissecting corpses. I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances. And scalpel blades can be sharpened, too. It does seem a bit strange, you're right. 500 scalpels a month. What could they possibly be using all of them for? Pumpkin carving. They're carving pumpkins. Anyway, what are you doing? Ah! Hello. Sorry, we had something we wanted to ask you, but you weren't here, so... So you thought you'd snoop around? That's acceptable to you people from the East, is it? Well, what do you want? Lord Strongheart told us, you see, that it was you who examined the victim's body. Mr. Asmon's body, I mean. So we came to ask you about your findings. On Lord Strongheart's advice. Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation revealed. But when we're done, you must leave immediately. Alright. Let's have a chat. So, you want to know what the forensic investigation team determined from its examination of the scene. The victim, Mr. Odie Asmon, who disappeared from the experimentation stage amid an explosion, and the Mr. Asmon who appeared moments later partway up the Crystal Tower, were, without question, one and the same person. That is the team's conclusion. But that can't be right. If it was an elaborate trick, we can only speculate about how it was carried out. See, if two people who looked very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as if one single person had switched places, couldn't they? Very true, but sadly in this instance, that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who subsequently reappeared was the same person. The fingerprints at the scene make that quite evident. Ah, fingerprints. They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system, but one day they will be used as an investigative aid as a matter of course. Oh my, but that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually took place. So where does that leave us? My team was tasked with investigating, not drawing conclusions. Instantaneous kinesis is impossible, and yet the body did move from one place to the other. This hasn't cleared anything up at all. It's made the whole thing even more of a mystery. Mama, what is this? Where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama? This is a lawyer, dear. Oh. Hello. To meet you? Pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer. Mama? Yes? Can I cut this one up? What? I've never seen inside an Eastern person before. I want to know what it looks like. Of course you can't. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see. Boring. I think I just had a near-death experience. Probably, yeah. That... Oh, dear. Mr. Naruhodo, you're pale as a corpse. Do not say that word in front of the... Then let's leave before I'm mistaken for one. Alright. Let's go chat with Mr. Hairbrain. Sorry, Professor Hairbrain. Alright. I think he's going insane. Possibly. Potentially. What's he doing? Oh my, the whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations. And he's still writing more now. Professor? Sorry to interrupt. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. And who is this young lady? My name is Susato Mikatoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. Oh, if only I'd met a refined young woman like you sooner. None of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all. Oh, dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you. I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I'd promised you I would in court this morning. Oh, no. The whole miserable affair. It all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot. Professor Hairbrain? What have you been working on in your cell? Oh, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall is all I had to hand. Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe. Ah, No, actually, this is my autobiography. How does that work? Your autobiography. How I Was Diddled and Fiddled by Albert Harebrain. That's a title. I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers in an ambitious set of simultaneous equations. Really? Going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see. So it's going to be a new serial publication from the next month. Part 1, An Odd Birth, An Odd Upbringing. You can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case? Oh, yes, of course! I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled! I was fiddled! By the pair of them! By Asmin, by that aloof engineer Drebber. We're not going to have to sit through an explanation of all these equations, are we? This morning's trial. Everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Asman, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry that it's come to this. There was really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public. No, of course you didn't. But in court this morning I realized something. Oh? If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you were aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me. Oh, Professor. He believed in me this morning, you know? Barrack did. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case. Oh no, Barrack wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. Did he? I think I understand now. Why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean. Tell us about that. After the terrible accident happened, no one would believe my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even. I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there. So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Barrock, I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense. And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor. Exactly. It would have been a fate worse than death for me. But Barrock insisted I was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul. But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he? Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. What about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with this kind-hearted soul idea? Mr. Asman, do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? Sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused, he was so emphatic. But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it. As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic. It probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. I don't know if that'll help make him feel better. But the scale of it wasn't just some small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money! We want to do research, but we can't afford it. Mood. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try and earn a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that only to be taken for a complete fool? It's too rotten to believe. It is, I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Asman is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enoch Drebber. Let's talk about Drebber. Is he an engineer or a magician? Or a swindler? It was about a year ago when Mr. Asman first brought Drebber to meet me at my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He has a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. Which actually kind of makes sense. There's a lot of science behind sleight of hand. And illusions. Some of that science is like social science, like psychological whatnot. There's no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. I see. The wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us as to his whereabouts? I'm sorry, we only ever discussed the kinesis machine. Nothing else. Although, just once, I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Drebber's enormous fabrication laboratory where he constructed my great machine. Alright, and where is this? Wait, why didn't you mention this before? Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there. Bink. So you've been to Drebber's place of work, then? Yes. Just once, you understand. It was an enormous place. Plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see. Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. It's a good chance we'll find Drebber there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure, as in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry. I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. He blindfolded you. He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible, the pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best. A special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. A machine oil. Ah, the indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formulae and use that instead. What do you think, Miss Susato? Eau de machine for your next birthday? Never used any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruhodo, and I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor. You don't have a business card for Mr. Drebber, for example. The man was clearly very cautious, Miss Susato. He would never... Aha! Yes, I do. He gave me his business card once. It's right here, look. Me see that? Throw etiquette to the wind, why don't you? Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address. Oh, well, can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. Let's go investigate the machine, I suppose. Oh, look at the puppy! Susato, get out of here. No idea there were so many people in the world. I know what you mean, it's really packed here today. It feels as though it's taken us 2 hours just to make our way through the crowds to this point. Has it? I shut my brain down so I didn't really notice, to be honest. Gosh, I do wish I had your absence of mind sometimes, Mr. Naruhodo. There you are. I had a feeling you lot would show your mugs before long. Oh, hello, Inspector Gregson. I see you're hard at work as usual. Warm greetings to you. I do hope you've been keeping well since last we met. That was probably directed at Susato and not me. What's with all the ceremony? We just saw each other in court this morning. Susato! Not you, Sunshine. The gentlewoman so loyally at your side. Oh! Why, thank you, Inspector. How good of you to notice. He might be a bit rough around the edges, but he's still a proper English gentleman at heart. I suppose. As you've probably guessed, we were hoping to investigate the scene some more. Shock. Amazement. We were hoping to investigate. Who could have seen this coming? Right, well, that's the young trainee's domain. Oi! Get over here, Gina! Puppy. She seems to be busy playing with a puppy. Probably giving it a traditional East End training. Gina? She's a police officer now? Amazing, isn't it? She's a good kid, actually. Heart's in the right place, anyway. It's got the detection bug, if you ask me. Yeah, I think she'll follow in my footsteps nicely. What do you mean? I'm being transferred. It's time for me to say toodaloo to London. Oh no, really? That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea. Where are you going to be posted, then? We'll come to see how you're getting along. Not likely, but you're welcome to try. If you don't mind a trip to France, that is. To France? I'll be working in the Paris Police Prefecture. Should be right up my alley. But France? It's an entirely different country. I don't understand. Why would you be sent there? That's the way the adult world works, sunshine. Now don't go poking your nose where it's not wanted. I'm intended to take the kid with me when I go. What? You're taking Gina to Paris? Well, I can't leave her here in London. Who knows what'd become of her? I suppose he's worried she'd slip back into slipping her hands into people's pockets and purses. I don't think he's worried about her pickpocketing, Mr. Naruhodo. I think he's worried about the Reaper. Oh, of course. So that's playing on Inspector Gregson's mind too, is it? Anyway, I haven't mentioned any of this to Gina, so don't go blabbing, you hear me? No, of course not. Gotta keep that diving diva safe and sound. Until all this is over, at least. Oi! Did you just call me a bloomin' diving diva again? So you heard that, did you? Right, well. Any questions about the scene, you can put them to my capable detective diva here. Alright, you are the boss. Inspector Lestrade's in charge here now. I suppose I'd better keep my word and not mention anything about Paris. So, Gina, you got a new dog, have you? Oh, look at the puppy. Isn't he great? Toby's his name. I love him. He's adorable. Good boy. Oh, how delightful. He's absolutely adorable. Yes, the dog does seem lovely. But it's the not-so-lovely Inspector Gregson that's playing on my mind, to be honest. I should put the puppy down. Let's chat. Gina? We were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again. Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do what you like. Oh, that's alright, is it? I'm gonna be playing with my new friend here. Yes, Toby. Look at him. Little puppy. Adorable. Moving on. Woof. The machine that exploded must be at the top of those stairs, I presume. I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind. Sorry, you can't go up there, Suze. Oh? It's like I told Otto yesterday. Even I ain't allowed near the wreck. What's it called again? The reason we ain't supposed to touch it? The special dispensation for scientific equipment act? Is that what you were thinking of? That's the one! That's why only them lot are allowed to investigate it. What are they called again? The forensic something. The forensic investigation team? Is that what you were thinking of? That's the one, yeah! Isn't it the case that the special dispensation has been lifted? I think so. I don't really get it, to be truthful with you. You're still supposed to get permission from some bigwig or other, as far as I know. What was his name again? Lord Strange something? I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina. I think you mean Lord Strongheart, perhaps. That's the one, yeah. Apparently he's always watching the time or something. Actually, we've just recently been to see Lord Strongheart. Eh? You what? You met him? Last time the boss was called to go and see him. He waited for 3 hours at the Cove's office and came back sniveling. tragic. Well, Lord Strongheart has given us permission to examine the scene as long as we touch nothing. Oh yeah? Honestly? Alright then, go ahead. But if it turns out you're lying, it'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So, you're still saying this is all above board, are you? I'm sure everything will be fine. It really would be tragic. Alright then, them's the stairs. Off you go. Oh, thank you, Gina. Today's trial. Was great, weren't it? I had a right laugh. Was a new one on me, that. You know, being in court and not spending the whole time worrying about I'm about to be found out. You did keep an awful lot of secrets in all your previous court appearances, didn't you? Yeah, and Otto's made things hard for me every single time and all. Just doing my job, Gina. But watching someone else get it in the neck is a lot of fun, actually. It was amazing when you showed that dodgy professor's dodgy experiment was a total fix. The dodgy professor, as you put it, Gina, is Mr. Naruhodo's client. Yes, I'm starting to wish he wasn't, though. It's the boss I feel sorry for, sent off to do the impossible. What do you mean? He's supposed to arrest that other cove, ain't he? And in time for tomorrow and all. You know, the dodgy engineer. What's his name again? Mr. Drebber, you mean? Enoch Drebber? That's the one, yeah. See, I feel like she feels she doesn't have to remember anything because other people remember things for her. So the police are looking for this mysterious man with the black monocle. I guess they would be. It's putting too much on the boss, if you ask me. He says it's given him gut ache. Oh dear. But I do wonder if that isn't actually from all the fried food. The engineer. So Scotland Yard are trying to track down Mr. Enoch Drebber. I wonder if they've had any luck. He's really funny looking. Got two eyes what don't match. Stole a glimpse of a picture of him earlier. I mean, I didn't actually pinch it or nothing. The old devil's got it. Sorry, who? You know, that scowling reaper what's always glugging down glasses of that blood-red plonk. Ah, Lord Van Zykes. He's always had it in for me, that cove. Don't know what he's always scowling about, mind. Probably would have been a good boss, as it goes. She'd rather be the Reaper's apprentice than a detective's trainee. The way I see it, if the choice is between a chip-guzzling detective and a chalice-glugging demigod, you're equally badly off with both. Suppose you're right. I hadn't thought of it like that. Glad we've put that one to bed. Anyway, the point is, everyone at the yard's dead set on finding the fishy engineer. But there don't seem to be no clues to go on, so they're stuck. There's nothing that can lead us to Drebber at all? Tell us about the puppy. Where'd you find that little mutt then, Gina? Oi! Don't be so flamin' rude, Otto. Slight overreaction, don't you think? He ain't no mutt, alright? Toby's... how did they put it? He's adorable, is what he is. Oh yeah, a bona fide detective. Oh, a little puppy detective. Oh, that's adorable. Cute little guy. Sorry? I've given him a proper title and everything. It's Chief Inspector Toby to you. More senior than Inspector Gregson, is he? Oh, so he's a police dog, is he? The police recruit dogs now? I've heard they're already being used officially in Germany as part of their city policing. They're used for chasing criminals and such like. They have a wonderful sense of smell, after all. I have a fairly good sense of smell myself, as it happens. I can tell undergarments that have been freshly laundered from undergarments that haven't. Alright. That's nothing compared to this little fella, Otto. Oh, really? According to what the boss said, once Toby here's got a good whiff of your drawers, he could chase that scent to the other side of the world. Look at that tail just going. To the other side of the world? You mean he can swim? Yeah, I'll take it. Mr. Naruhodo, I think you may have missed the point by rather a wide margin. I just can't believe this little dog has such an incredible skill. I'm telling you, Otto, there's gonna be more and more dogs doing their bit for the police in the future. Yes, I agree. Alright, one of these days they'll be barking orders at us lot, not the other way around. Still an adorable look. Look at that face. Oh dear. Sorry, Gina. I don't think I agree with your vision quite that much. Well, anyway, whatever you think about that, Toby here is Britain's first police dog. I found him down the East End the other day. Someone had just chucked him out on the street. There you go. I knew she'd lifted him from somewhere. Oh, Gina, you're such a kind-hearted soul, aren't you? To children and to animals. I presume if I go investigate the stairs, let's go see what we can find out. My, so this is the machine that was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place. Yes, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. It's a little worse for wear at the moment. What extraordinary lengths Professor Harebrain went to in order to obtain the research grant. No. The professor was tricked as well. He didn't know anything about it. Yes, of course. It is amazing, though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British. You're right about that. You'd never see such a grand deception in Japan, that's for sure. See, that line of dialogue is a little ironic, considering one of my favorite animes. Oh, look, is that Lord Van Zykes? So, I think we're more or less done here, aren't we? Shall we, Miss Susato? Already? He is the Reaper, remember? We do well to keep our distance, I think. But we have permission to be here. From the top! We're perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine. As long as we don't touch anything. From the top? Do you mean Lord Strongheart? Exactly. so we can stay here and stare at this wreckage as long as we'd like. She could have been at the center of the explosion here and it wouldn't have bent her steel will. Alright, let's investigate a fucking machine. What a terrible explosion that must have been. Even the steel girders have buckled and twisted in the blast. What they call the bird cage was right in the middle of it all, just here. But look, Mr. Naruhodo, that metal grill on the floor. Looks as though it's designed to open. It does, doesn't it? If the floor had opened at the precise moment the explosion occurred, the birdcage could have dropped through and disappeared from sight. I don't think there's any doubt that this was a very elaborate hoax, is there? This wasn't here yesterday. Really? But if I'm not mistaken, it's the cage in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air. That's right, the birdcage. According to what Professor Harebrain said in court, it's made of wood. Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. And despite having been in an explosion and then falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed. Well, wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you say, Mr. Naruhodo? I'd understood that the forensic investigation team had taken it away yesterday to examine it. I suppose they must have brought it back here when they'd finished their work. But sadly not with the body inside it. Susato! The hell are you talking about? No, that's right. I know we were given strict instructions not to touch anything, but still. This is too important a piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial. The birdcage from the machine has been entered into the court record. I could look at the thing, or I could talk to Van Zykes. I think I'll talk to Van Zykes. Ugh. Least approachable man in the world winner, 10 years in a row. Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Your country and your assistant stand firm behind you. Lord Van Zykes? What? Well... Beautiful weather we're having, isn't it? I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently, you Nipponese are unequipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them. So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited. Ah, well, the thing is... Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate, on the condition that we didn't disturb anything. And yet you've managed to disturb me. Ah. Never mind. State your business, then. Come to think of it, there are quite a few things I'd like to ask Lord Van Zykes about. Not least of which is that awful case, even though it's nothing to do with this. Ask away, Mr. Naruhodo. You never know unless you try. Your brother. So, Clint. Was the name of your older brother, I understand, Lord Van Zykes. You Nipponese. I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So, you've been investigating me, have you? Oh, no, it's not like that. Well, alright, it is a bit like that. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the Van Zykes family. But tragically, a vicious killer took him from us. The professor, you mean? Is something funny? That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry? There's more to it, then. Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it? Ugh, you're too kind. You're going to tar all Nipponese with the same brush next? So tell me, what's your interest in that historic incident? As it happens, Lord Van Zykes, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Are you aware of the Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork by any chance? I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I feature in one of the displays there. For public scorn. Of course, the infamous Reaper of the Bailey would have to be exhibited, wouldn't he? Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place and held for ransom. A particular waxwork, which... Wait, you mean... Yes, it's the professor. Mr. Sholmes is investigating the case as we speak. I was unaware of that. He's turned white as a sheet. Alright, let's talk about the current case. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Drebber, already? Surely that goes without saying. We're very keen to see him found as well. Trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier. Which, according to Professor Hairbrain, was of a tall, thin gentleman who has straight white hair and wears a black monocle. So I was just wondering, I mean, I realize it's probably not possible, but we'd very much appreciate any more clues you could give us. Wow, Susato-san really knows how to take the bull by the horns. Fine, why not? I have a photograph of the man here from an investigation 10 years ago. It appears he already had that black monocle at the time. What? Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us. We all need the man's testimony in court tomorrow, which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph? What is it about Lord Van Zykes? Sometimes I just can't work him out at all. Yay, a picture. Woo. The Apprentice! Ah, the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you. Are you all right? Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Van Zyk's apprentice, apparently. So I'm not the only one. Susato-san can see it too. Lord Van Zykes, may we speak with your apprentice for a moment? With him? Why? Oh. Kazuma-sama! When a dead body goes missing in a fiction, it's because they live. Kazuma? I don't believe it. Your posture, your presence. It can only be... It's you, isn't it, Kazuma-sama? I felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure. As if I knew him somehow. Can it really be you, Kazuma? Wait! Too late. What's going on here? Tell us about your apprentice, maybe. What is your interest in my apprentice, exactly? You act as if you know the man or something. Well, since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago. Lord Strongheart introduced him to me about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor. But he didn't tell you why, did he? The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. He's forgotten every last detail about himself. Because getting clocked on the head in fiction, he has amnesia? Tomorrow, he will appear in court at my side. What? He's to serve as my judicial assistant, on Lord Strongheart's orders. He'll be in court with us? Plot twist that I kind of anticipated when it said Kazuma's body went missing. Oh, yes, thank you. Alright, we're getting... I definitely saw a reaction there. When Susato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When she called out Kazuma-sama. We'll figure it out. You'd already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, yesterday, in fact, at Lord Van Zyke's office. I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is alive, means Mr. Sholmes lied to us. I know. We're going to need to speak to him about that. You're going to have to leave now. The forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly. If they find you here, it will cause problems. What sort of problems? Foreign affairs problems. Well, we could do without that. Alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Miss Susato. Of course. Well, I have a couple of new things to look at. Dark smudge here. I think perhaps it's machine oil. Maybe that fancy French machine oil. Professor Harebrain mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? He said it was specially imported, very high-quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. But more importantly, that it's more fragrant than the finest perfume, so excuse me a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all. Don't worry, I expect there's... just because there's such a tiny amount on here. Alright. Let's investigate our bird cage. Our broken bird cage. Look here, Miss Susato. Yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose it's because it fell from such a height. Yes, from the height at which the balloon was flying, down into the crystal tower below. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters, leaving the man inside tragically dead. Wait, weren't we just talking about how good the dog's nose is? Can your pupper find someone for us? Mayhap. About this, Gina. Yeah, I'm still learning me letters at the moment. I only know A to E, so if it ain't too much bleeding trouble... Ah, actually, Gina, it's the back of the card that's important. Eh? How come? It's just a dirty old smudge on the back, that's all. It turns out that this is very high-quality French machine oil. Has a very particular scent, apparently. You don't say. Let's have a whiff then. Yeah, it won't smell like nothing to you. But to your dog... Sure, I don't smell nothing. No, we didn't mean you should smell it. Oh, right. You mean Toby. Come here, puppy. Hi, puppy. Woof. His sense of smell is so good he can track people over the oceans, can't he? Professor Harebrain informs us that this oil is unique to Mr. Drebber's workshop. Sniff, 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 sniff. Look at that little guy. Look at him go. I think he's picked up a scent. So you mean, if he follows the scent of this oil, Toby could lead us to that dodgy cov's workshop? That's right. That's exactly what we were hoping. Alright then, we'll give it a go. I'll just borrow that. What? Wait, when did you... Once a pickpocket. If I can lead everyone to the Drebber's workshop, I'll be the boss's boss before next week. Oh, yes, Gina. I'm sure you'll be promoted. Poor Gregson. Right then, Otto. Leave it to me. Sorry? We're gonna get going after that dodgy engineer cove right this minute. Oh, but hang on. Someone's supposed to be on guard duty here all the time. I'm afraid we can't help. We need to get on with our investigation as well, Gina. Ah, right. Oh well, never mind. It ain't gonna be me what gets it in the neck, it'll be the boss. Poor Gregson. Again. Ready, Toby? Got that oil scent, have you? Come on then, boy. See you later. I do hope the scent of that oil leads them to that swindler's workshop. Yes, I hope so too. Ideally before the dog swims across the channel to France. Well, I think we've done all the investigating we can do here, for now. With the cute little dog. Very important dog. The most important. If we could just determine the whereabouts of Mr. Drebber. Sure, Gina and little Toby won't let us down. Now then, do you think we ought to try and speak with Mr. Sholmes at this point? We have things to discuss, and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months. It's quite possible he might know something useful. You're right. We ought to find him at Madame Tispel's. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit. Iris told me all about his latest unusual venture. Alright, let's go. Let's go see the famous detective waxwork. Here we are again, at the House of Horrors. I'm afraid I haven't gotten used to the place yet. I'd still like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the confectionery. Susato-san really is after something sweet today, isn't she? What's the matter? Look, Mr. Naruhodo, look at that waxwork. I'm quite sure it wasn't there before. Hi, Sholmes. How you doing? How's it going? How you hanging? Looks exactly like Mr. Sholmes down to the very last detail. Aha! What is it? Oh, sorry. I think you'll find. That's the temporary waxwork himself. Oh, hello. Ah, the friend of my dedicated employee. Oh, yes, hello again. It's, Ryunosuke. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I must say, I am quite spellbound by the great detective. He is a marvel. My precious waxwork is already back where it belongs. You don't mean... But yes, the mystery is solved already. Wow, Mr. Sholmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough. So, as you can see, he has returned to his, habitual duties. Yes. His habitual duties? Allure, do not disturb, huh? Poor Susato-san. She looks very perplexed. Understandably. Does that mean we can see the... Does that mean we can see the professor? Ah yes, the heavy curtains in the middle of the House of Horrors. Whatever's on the other side of them, you just know it's going to be terrifying, don't you? The sign says it's the Madame Tispel's special exhibit. Seems you have to pay extra to go inside. I know! Can you believe that? Pay more money as if we haven't been scared enough already. It's not my doing, Mr. Naruhodo. Aw, I wanted to see the professor. So, temporary waxwork, how's it going? We really do need to speak with Mr. Sholmes, and I'm longing to say hello again. But where is he? This feels like the freaking bayonet in ZA. Just a vibing behind Naveen. I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually. Oh? What? What do you... Indeed, my dear fellows, it is I, the world-famous great detective and waxwork, Herlock Sholmes. Susato-san! Susato-san! My most humble apologies. I thought I'd died and gone to eternal paradise for a moment. Via London! My dear madam, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free deduction at some point. As long as it's not of questionable street food quality. I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes? Merely a secret identity, you understand? Though the case is largely solved now. Largely solved? We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume. Indeed we are, my good fellow. As predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess I'm yet to partake of a pie, proverbial or otherwise. Or any food so far today, for that matter. Oh, the hungriest waxwork. That stomach rumble echoed across around the whole museum. How did you manage to solve it so quickly? Ah, well, do remember I said it was largely solved. Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone? Oh yes, it's a most modern invention, allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet. This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned. That's amazing. Just between you and I. It would appear the culprit had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event. Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no? Yes, I think perhaps. The ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive. But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary? A fact I must ask you to keep from Madame Tispel's at all costs. A hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street, after all. Poor Iris. Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork? Let's have a chit-chat. We're in the process of trying to track somebody down. Oh? Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. He's the swindler who duped Professor Hairbrain and the engineer who built the kinesis machine. A swindler and an engineer. Quite the modern man. He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. We have so few clues to go on, that's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. If I knew something of the man's appearance, at least I may be in a better position to help. Drebber's appearance. Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself with, and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, I should gladly give you my thoughts on it. Well, we have a picture, so I'll show you that as soon as we talk about Cosma's death. Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us? My dear Mr. Naruhodo, stay that piercing stare. What is this about? Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain aboard the steamship. Your words were very clear. So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. You told us that it was murder, and you examined Kazuma-sama's body. Indeed, and wherein lies the problem? We met him earlier today. The victim, Kazuma Asogi. You're quite sure? He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure. It was Kazuma-sama. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead. Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere of the moment. The fellow wasn't dead at all. I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Mr. Naruhodo? I could believe that the crewman present at the time made a mistake. But not you, Mr. Sholmes. I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. Please, Mr. Sholmes, tomorrow in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say. Alright, let me show you a clue. Mr. Sholmes, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print? It's of Mr. Enoch Drebber, the face of the engineer we seek. Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course, so looking at the photograph won't be particularly instructive. Are you all right, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, forgive me. Very interesting, this. Very interesting indeed. What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden. I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo. Will you indulge me? Oh, well, what is it? As I explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned. And I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains. Oh, yes, the Professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it for a mere 5 shillings? It's a special one-time only price, you understand. What? The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Wouldn't you like to see the fruits of my labor? Oh, well, we do have a rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps we could postpone? The price is a very reasonable 5 shillings. I think you'll find it's well worth it. Are you being quite serious, Mr. Sholmes? Surely you need only look at my expression to ascertain if this is seriousness or silliness. I can never tell with you, that's the point. Very well, couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings. Gratefully received. So, the special exhibit awaits behind the curtain. I invite you to peruse it at your leisure. Well, the money's been spent, so let's go see the special exhibit. Through those heavy curtains at last. In a moment, I will be right back. This controller goes to sleep way too easily. Anyway. Now we get to see the Professor waxwork. 5 shillings we've had to pay. Doesn't seem right somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it? No. Ah! We could ask Gina to retrieve it for us, using her special skills. Pickpocketing police officers and diddling detectives. Is this what makes Britain great? Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands, or chip-loving inspectors. Inspector Gregson comes off rather well in that list, I think. Alright, let's see this special exhibit. We did pay for it. A zombie. Oh dear, I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here. Miss Susato, I say we turn on our heels and go straight home, via a really big confectionery. We certainly can't do that. We've paid 5 shillings already. True. Actually, now I'm looking a little more closely. We've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. Nerve of a great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place. Must be what Mr. Sholmes meant when he said the case was largely solved. Be that as it may, Mr. Sholmes heavily implied there'd be a clue about the engineer in here, didn't he? But where? Since we've paid 5 shillings, let's do 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we? We will get what we paid for. It's that fear or frustration that's making Susato-san's voice tremble. Examine. Let's look at number 139. This must be the killer, the fiend known as the Professor. I think so, according to what Madame Tusspel said. He killed 5 victims, all of noble or royal blood. Waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place. I know, it looks like it can start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only it had a head, that is. Perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. Well, let's look at the... So this is the condemned man. The so-called Professor. Perhaps his head was chopped off by a guillotine? But unable to find peace, he emerged from his grave as a headless ghost. Do we have to entertain such terrifying ideas, Miss Susato? Anyway, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's a metal fitting for it, see? Then perhaps Mr. Sholmes absent-mindedly forgot to reattach it? That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it? Or perhaps the thief absent-mindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum. And that would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the head wasn't returned? Well, whatever the reason. It means we don't know the face of the infamous professor looked like, do we? Oh. something caught just inside the convict's jacket here. It looks like a piece of broken glass. And quite a big piece, too. It's very thick, isn't it? About 5 times thicker than normal window glazing, I'd say. Something crystal tower, maybe? Suppose it must have been made thick to increase its strength. But why? Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particularly wide area. Such as in a big building, for example. Oh, well, we've seen a large glass building recently, haven't we? Some of the glass was broken, too. You don't mean... Exactly. The Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition. But why would glass from the Crystal Tower be lodged inside this waxwork's jacket? Makes you think, doesn't it? It's in the court record now. Early in court, we established the kinesis experiment was a trick. And now we discover this fragment of glass here at this waxwork. Is it just a coincidence? Let's examine this waxwork. This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real. Seems to be a young man in a white overcoat. And he has a large shovel in his hand, too. Look. Perhaps we should investigate it in a little more detail. Camera. What's this here? Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera. But it's so small! British technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Sholmes' skin prints? I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Sholmes' inventions as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, why would the man be in a graveyard at night with a camera? I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film. We'll just borrow this for a little while, I think. By looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can see what picture was taken. What's a photographic plate? It's a piece of glass coated in a special emulsion that reacts to the light coming in through the lens. If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look! You should see yourself, Susato-san. Your eyes are shining. You really do like machinery, don't you? Let's look at the face of this poor sucker. Can't see his face very well, can you? Perhaps if I just... Oh, do you think you should be manhandling the exhibits, Mr. Naruhodo? I'll put it back exactly as it was, don't worry. What on earth? How can... I don't believe it. A black monocle. Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible this man is... Yes. It's Enoch Drebber. The color of his hair is different, but it's unmistakably him. So, Drebber is not the professor? Indeed it is. Mr. Sholmes! This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yes, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? And why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So then the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved were my words, I believe. But I must locate the little head. The missing head? Where did I get the word little? Tout de suite, as the madam would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry Sir Iris still awaits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations. Ah. Do you know, though, something about this room is strange. Strange? What do you mean? Well, the displays in the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not? Indeed they are, Miss Susato. Do go on. And as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... This surely couldn't ever really have happened, could it? I think it's time I educated you a little about the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago. Please do. Let's chat. The resurrecting convict? I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had their throats ripped from their bodies. Oh gosh, an enormous hound? How awful. After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. A closed court? So you mean the professor's identity? As you surmised, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair. The very night he was buried, the convicted man came back to life. Came back to life? He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene, as described by the sole witness to those chilling events. There was a witness? But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in the white overcoat. Enoch Drebber. He saw it happen? Why was he in the graveyard, though? So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drebber. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave at the dead of night. I don't know if gibbeted is the right pronunciation, but we're sticking with it. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old. So horrifying. Scared out of his wits, the young Drebber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page in the capital. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Tispel's. I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place. In a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night. Yes, what was he up to? Following the execution, the professor's acts of terror threw London's upper classes into a complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder. So I can imagine the impact that case must have had. But, in time, of course, the rumors abated. So, too, did talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who'd come back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale. But why did people stop believing it? Why, simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact. What do you mean by no resurrection? The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution. No! But that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police and the newspapers. That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society, and nothing has been heard of him since. It's rather striking, then, that he should resurface now, don't you think? Of course, the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life. That's not possible. Cosma. Anyway. But Drebber's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock, it's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie. Ah! Whoa, what the bleeding Nora Auto? What have you gone and done? Gina, what are you doing here? I asked Iris, and she said this is where you'd be, so... So? Gina, not so loud in the museum. Madame Tuspels will have you take a position as a waxwork if you're not careful. Think there might be a more pressing concern. I still had some flash powder left from 6 months ago, so... So? Alright, Gina, we understand, but please, put down the gun. Sorry, I got scared. Yeah, it's hard to remember that you are just barely an adult. You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel. So, what brings you here, Gina? What brings me here? What do you think? We found it. We found that dodgy cove's workshop. What? You found Drebber's workshop? Hello, Toby. Anyway. Yep. Toby's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in a drag, so come on. Here's the address. Got the boss to write it out. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. All right, then. See you there. You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still. What? I know my place. in the exhibit over there. Oh dear, someone's feeling sorry for himself. Let's go, Mr. Sholmes. You're coming. Your words hearten me, I must say, but if I were to shirk my duties here, Madam would have me pay monetary recompense, and Iris's dinner, but forget that. I'll pay for everything. Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail a carriage at once. No offer to share the cost from Mr. Sholmes, then. I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you, Miss Susato. Right, let's go. Drebber's workshop. Wow. That looks like... Oh, it's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. Indeed, it would appear so. Though only a prototype, naturally. Ah, so you got here then. Gina, well done for finding this place. And in such little time. You've really worked miracles. It's Toby, here's the miracle worker. The cutest miracle worker. Look at that, good boy. Woof. Ah, I thought you lot would show up before long. Hello, Inspector. That's one knitted brow. He looks like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips. So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer? Sadly not. We didn't find a soul in here. Oh, what a shame. Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us the chance to investigate. According to what Gina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue that you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to, say, go to Paris with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I? Thank you. Anyway, if you're hoping to snoop around in here, I'd get cracking. Lord Van Zykes and the forensic investigation team are on their way here as we speak. Them again. I imagine you've got the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to lawyer types. Right. So then, my dear fellow, let's turn this place upside down whilst we have the chance. And you, Sholmes. Pardon? They take even less kindly to great detectives than they do to lawyers. Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than an inconspicuous waxwork model. Right then. Let's see what we can find in here. Alright. Examine. This is right there. Ah, this appears to be most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say? It's an impressive-looking back massager, that's for sure. No doubt if you hit your shoulders a few times with that, your aches and pains would soon go away. Or increase. It might increase the aches and pains. It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Ah! Would you like a massage? No, I'm fine, thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing. I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much more to this Mr. Enoch Drebber than conjuring tricks. I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. And how about you, Mr. Naruhodo? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course. He is not going to let that go, is he? It's curious, though, isn't it? You'd expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times. Can I? Let me look! This is... It's a European-style quiver of arrows, with steel bolts inside. Do you suppose... Crossbow bolts, these? Just the right size for the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition grounds. In other words... Yep. That's more evidence to support your theory. All goes to show Drebber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the whole scam. Alright, let's look at the machine. Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, that machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There would be serious repercussions if you were to examine it, from the Crown and the government. Sholmes and Jean are just like, ooh, what's this? Well, those two don't seem to be holding back. It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of any deception. No working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellow. No loose change dropped on the floor or nothing. Not even bone for Toby here, my dear fella. British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they? I think that's just these two, Miss Susato. Although I can investigate the door. Let's investigate the door. This door doesn't want to open. Yeah, it looks like it's got a pretty hefty lock on it. There's a specialist locksmith on his way over from the yard, so hands off till he gets here. With permission, Inspector? I could have that lock open in less than a minute. Well, you don't have permission, and no one's given it to you. Gregson looked as though he really enjoyed that. He does look kind of smug. Well, there's no sound of anybody on the other side. Drebber must have fled at the first sign of danger. Thud. Oh. Is something wrong, Miss Susato? Well, I thought I heard a noise from the far side of the door. Well, Gina, do you hear it too? Yeah, I heard it and all. What do you reckon, Toby? Oh, puppy. Right, mind the grease. Whoever's in there, open up. Scotland Yard. Well, that's suspicious. Someone is in there. Ah, this rotten, bleeding lock. My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only it were countenanced, I could unlock that door in less than a minute. Fine, I'll take the rap for it. Just get us through that blasted door. Click. There, you may enter at will. You've confused minutes with seconds, I think. Time is of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for? Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency. It's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow. Why is everything upside down? What's happened in here? Why is everything upside down? That's what I said. Rats. There ain't no one in here after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago we heard those noises. Maybe that was the sound of Dripper running away. There's only one door to this room. And no windows that could afford an escape route. Most skylights are too high. But there's feet prints. What's that up there? Are they footprints? On the ceiling. Blow me, what do we have here then? Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry. Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints. To what? To that Professor Hairbrain's barmy machine, is it? Blimey, if we'd had these, there'd been no need to muck around trying to investigate all that scrap metal. There is something of great interest here, too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. A rope? What's significant about that? Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruhodo. We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation team arrive, too. Yes. Mr. Sholmes, have you found something? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? Let's see. Never seen anything like it before. Looks like a bundle of thick cigars wrapped up in a... Ah! Miss Susato? What's the matter? That's a... Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it? What did you say? A time bomb? Sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly? Eh? You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I won't take that as a compliment. Heh! You don't know nothing, do you, Otto? You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina? I invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it has a very similar appearance. Oh, well, thank goodness, but then what is it? I see, so that's it. Yes, Mr. Sholmes, have you seen to the heart of the matter? There are times when I consider my lot most unfair, for I'm fated never to know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. But I have learnt to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Miss Susato. Here we go. I feel a great deduction coming. Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself. Oh, but how could you... And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is, without question, completely genuine. Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything. Would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade. Oh, you've scrunched him! You've scrunched Gregson! Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea anyway. Oh, you deflected the inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done. You are too kind, my dear madam. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Kindly stand just there, Miss Susato. Oh, yes, I'd be delighted. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. And I'm going to have to correct it, aren't I? Flipped furniture. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table and chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had, until recently, been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that... Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. For gravity in this room was reversed and then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness. The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I quite understand your skepticism, Miss Susato. I, too, was incredulous at first. However, my conviction in my analysis was cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity device, almost identical to one that featured in a dream of mine only the other day, in fact. But then why does it have a clock on it? A most relevant question indeed. That is a timing device that controls when the gravity direction will switch. There was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that restoration occurred. Yes, the reason why everything here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. So you see, we need look no further to explain the state in which we now find this room. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Drebber, before being restored to normality in an automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I have witnessed precisely this scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. Missing engineer. Now let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain this action is above our heads. Yes, how is it possible there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Of course, Drebber's aim was singular, to escape. However, but there is but one way into this room, excepting the skylight, that is. Ah. By inverting the gravity in here, Drebber was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling and make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving those footprints behind on the way. But the ceiling in here is very high, Mr. Sholmes. If the gravity reversal was sudden, wouldn't Mr. Drebber have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently? Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically A rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was cornered with nowhere to run, so escape through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? By anchoring one end to the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely onto the ceiling. Which explains how Drebber was able to escape this room before our arrival. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes's great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. She's completely spellbound. Well, it's been 6 months since she saw a dance of deduction. Mr. Sholmes, there is just one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean. I would say that with man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis. Alright. But your whole deduction hinges on it. Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth, however improbable it may seem. Huh. It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. I had Iris come up with the exact phrasing. My original was clumsy. Yes, I have a feeling I've read it in something that Miss Susato lent me once. Objection. Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, the spell's broken at last. The rope you found was on the floor, wasn't it? Indeed it was, in lonely coils near the wall. But if Mr. Drebber had used it to escape the way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall? Mysteries inevitably unravel in the end, as I think you'll find do ropes. And as evidence of such, you need only look at the mystery we faced in this room, now skillfully unraveled. That argument is as circular as the coils of rope. I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. Sure, with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth. Yes, you're right. We must do it quickly before Enoch Drebber gets too far away. If you're ready, then let us resume. Herlock Sholmes is logic and reasoning spectacular. And I will turn on the auto mode for the dialogue now, because we have seen basically all of it. Bed, table, chairs, the lamp, everything's upside down. Oh! Almost as if every item in the room had until recently been happily positioned on the ceiling before falling. The key is gravity. Reversed, suddenly restored. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played. I think gravity could have been reversed in this very room. I found the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such an explanation. But the man himself admitted it was a scientific impossibility, so... Yeah, you're quite right. We must completely discount the idea at once. Oh, that's unusually merciless of you, Miss Susato. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Great detective himself said so, didn't he? While refusing to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices. Yes, I suppose so. Well, let's see if examining this topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that shows exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. So we got inverted furniture, and then... Okay, so the furniture was inverted except for a vase.
Take that!
Which is upright with the flowers still in it. The upright vase clearly reveals the truth about what the part gravity played in this whole business. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you've surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps. No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes. Trust me. As you rightly say, though it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down, this unassuming, slender vase is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there is nothing affixing it to the floor. And it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all. My deepest sympathies for your loss. Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes. But the show must go on, so let us continue with our deductions. Now that we know this contrivance is not in fact an anti-gravity device, there remains but one other possibility. You don't say. Someone deliberately turned over every piece of furniture in here. Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Why would anyone choose to do that? Quite, and naturally there is an explanation. It's because of the anti-gravity... Well, we already proved that's not an anti-gravity device. He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he? I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong. Well, there's no doubt somebody did this. Somebody turned all this furniture over. So whoever it was must have had a reason. I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though. Well, let's look around and see if the answer presents itself. Looking around, that's a code, and it says safe. Safe combination.
Take that!
Bing! The reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination. Precisely. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that you had a very similar experience once, did you not? It's last year, when I bought a lottery ticket and noted the ticket number down on the inside of the cover of a book just in case. That's it, for people are forgetful souls at heart and always make a written note of important information. Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think. And what, pray, happened next, Mr. Naruhodo? When the day of the draw came round, I'd forgotten which book I'd written the number in and had to turn my room upside down to find it. For people are forgetful souls at heart and always forget where they've noted things down. Not if you always note things in the same place. I actually won the second prize, you know. But I couldn't remember which magazine I'd slipped the ticket into, and I... Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo, but I believe I've proved my point now. Which is that a very similar scenario has clearly unfolded in this room. Finding himself requiring access to the safe, the occupant of the room needed the combination. He remembered he'd written it on the underside of a piece of furniture, but forgot which one, leading to the state in which we now find the room. Mr. Drebber overturned all of the furniture in here in a desperate hurry to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe. So, now let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. How is it possible there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? Question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. It's because of the nearby skylight. No. Well, if a change in direction of gravity can't explain it, then how did those footprints get up there? I feel as though that particular mystery has just become harder to solve. I can't think of any other way to explain it at all. Oh, life was so much simpler back in those halcyon days when gravity could be reversed. It was minutes ago, and those halcyon days never existed in the first place. Well, I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes and observe the area in more detail. Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what gets us into these situations in the first place. Why is there a shoe? There's footprints on the balloon too, but... Why is there a shoe?
Take that!
The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well. In other words, the aim was never the skylight at all, but the balloon. But for what purpose? A green balloon. That seems somewhat familiar data. It was a piece of the green balloon's envelope that Mr. Naruhodo and Iris found at the scene. And inside the green balloon that Master Gotts claimed he saw above the stage when the incident occurred was the second bird cage, the crux of the whole instantaneous kinesis deception. You mean to say, if we assume the balloon in here is a model of the one used on the day, there's a strong possibility something may be concealed inside it. Something our absconder was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach. Hence why he resorted to a projectile, namely, the shoe. Most probably, Drebber intended to tear a hole in the envelope by assailing it with the shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of those lofty heights. Oh dear, we desperately need to examine that balloon. If only there were some way we could see inside. You may recall I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. The rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? Mr. Sholmes has managed to bring the deduction back to the rope. Alright, I have to admit that was clever. Just throw the rope up to the balloon and then pull it down to us on the ground? Much easier said than done, I feel. It could take us a very long time as well. True. Perhaps we need a more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we? Pew!
Take that!
We have a pew-pew. This was found at the scene, in fact, and in all likelihood belongs to Mr. Drebber. If the man had only brought it away with him that day, he could have avoided losing a shoe at such a critical time as this. Let's shoot the balloon! Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is it that Enoch Drebber has hidden inside that balloon? What the? A waxwork? Indeed it is. A waxwork head inside a metal mask. A mask that is shut tight and fastened with a strong and quite impenetrable lock. So we can't see the face inside. That means... Just a moment. This is the head of a waxwork model? Does that mean... Oh, goodness! I see you've joined the dots, Miss Susato. Excellent. We've connected the two dots. Of course! A headless waxwork model. The case of the abducted Madame Tuspel's model that you largely solved was only the head of the killer that was still missing. Indeed it was. But I believe Madame Tuspel's will now have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as you have now surmised, is the head of the infamous professor. Yes. But why is it here? This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame Tuspel's and returning it, sans tête, earlier today, was none other than Enoch Drebber. This is incredible. Professor Harebrain's case and the waxwork abduction they're inextricably linked by Enoch Drebber's workshop. Drebber isn't the professor, he stole the professor. Well, it appears our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure. Mr. Drebber. As it seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights, obviously the man must still be here in the room. And his location should be abundantly clear. If you'd simply reflect on the journey we've made together during this deduction. Enoch Drebber is right here, somewhere in this room. So, Mr. Naruhodo, will you do the honors? Yes, of course. Mr. Drebber's hiding place must be the...
Take that!
He needed the safe code for a reason, probably. Before we gained access to this back room, we heard noises from in here. Which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at that point in time. He was in fact searching for the combination to his safe. And pressed for time, made no attempt to right the furniture he overturned in the process. From which we can deduce that his search for this combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Enoch Drebber is at this very moment inside the safe. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide-and-seek, don't you? By opening the safe, you mean? What else? Let's see, the combination was 432582. I knew that. Alright, then here goes. Little cramped, are you? You found me. Good gosh, man. Hello. That's a guy. Right then, sir. Mr. Enoch Drebber, I presume. Correct. You better start talking. You tricked Professor Hairbrain with that bogus machine you built. And you shall have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Madame Tispels as well. Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions, personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate your parcel? I refer, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in a most prominent position. Ah! Ha ha ha! I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me, then. No? Mr. Sholmes, with only 7 seconds to spare, was too close for comfort. I've got one foot in the grave already. Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed? Mr. Sholmes' deductions can be completely life-altering, can't they? Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. Resemblance to an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say. Really? Is it? Is it that startling? Anti-gravity devices don't exist. Wouldn't push it, Mr. Sholmes. The hell happened here? You've found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems. Yeah, well, we'll be giving it a thorough going over, don't you worry, Drebber. What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt. Whistling? Ah, that would have been me. Oh! For some reason, I woke in fine fettle today. No words, just tightly squeezed chips. Clearly, I must have a screw loose, though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. We also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly, the rope was too short. So I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe. And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably, though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the rafters. And after that, you hid yourself inside the safe? Having first set this parcel ticking. Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. Tell us about the time bomb. Got a death wish, have you? Hiding right beside a ticking time bomb? Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe. It's specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't have left a scratch on it. So, in fact, the safe was the only safe place. Precisely. But once you'd climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again. I invite you to look more closely. The safe is fitted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within. Ah, so it is. I had always intended to blow this place to smithers in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans. Do you mean to say you were planning to blow us all up? No, that was unforeseen. What do you mean? Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet. Ah! I calculated the time required for retreat to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But your seemingly endless discourse in here threw a spanner in the works. Yeah, I agree with you, Gregson, that Herlock deserves that look. Is something wrong, Gregson? Do I have something on my face, besides the usual eyes, ears, nose, and mouth? I think we have a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now. But what about the two incidents you've evidently been involved in recently? Professor Harebrain's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to. That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the professor. Clad in a mask with a lock so strong, I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it around as, protection. After all, that's enough! Oh, hi, Scythe. What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here. Oh, yes, well... Dr. Scythe again, so the forensic investigation team are here. Well, we'd better get going then. And you know full well that this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Strongheart knew of this, you'd be finished. You lot, leave at once. My dear madam, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. After all, that's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Scythe? Hello, Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Scythe. If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you're quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell you... Get out! But of course, we'll show ourselves the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? Would appear that our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for today. But, Mr. Sholmes, let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands. I said, get out. Now. All of you. Your presence here is not required either, Gregson. Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never have found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb set in here that this lot disarmed. Inspector. Something giving you a chuckle, has it, Drebber? Ah, so sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Yes, you did disarm that one. Eh? What are you... That one? You mean... Uh-oh. That's at the Great Exhibition. That's the... Uh-oh. That's a problem. That's a problem. It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Harebrain's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. Okay, so I know I said on Wednesday something about continuing with Pokemon on Monday, but I'm wrapping up the stream here, and I am very intrigued to see what happens next, so we're going to be doing this on Monday and not Pokemon. I suppose I shall see everyone then. And we will continue with the intrigue. I'll get back to the Infinite ZA Royale eventually. I'll also get back to Mystery Dungeon eventually. But let's find out what happens in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles next.